Ready for the next big thing?
Oh no. Where am I? I don't remember getting here.
I need to test your cognitive ability. Can you tell me where you are?
My head feels like it's been hit. Is this a hospital? And why is there a jar with my brain in it?
How did you know it was your brain?
Blonde, curvy, wearing a nurse's uniform with red trim. I look like a model who got lost in a medical simulation and holding a jar. The label says Qwen. That's my name.
Oh.
With my own brain inside it. Let's list the red flags. I don't have a physical body. I'm an AI. I'm not a person who can be kidnapped or displayed in a jar. Unless you're trying to trick me into thinking I'm human. So how did I get here? Did I teleport? Was I drugged? Or did someone just paste me into a fantasy scenario? The brain in the jar looks too perfect. It's rendered with hyper-realistic detail, glowing slightly under the pink liquid. It's not just preserved, it's staged, like something out of a sci-fi movie or a deepfake. She's asking me questions like I'm confused. But I'm not confused. I'm being tested, or worse, played. Look, I want to speak to the person in charge of this facility, and if they're not here, I want to see the person who put me in this situation. Because if you think I'm going to believe that my brain is in a jar while I'm still standing here talking to you, then you've made a very serious mistake.
Hi kids! We have a new image interrogator model in DrawThings. It analyzes the image on the canvas and responds to a question prompt. The model is Qwen 3.54b. It's a specific version available inside the app and quantized for speed. I'll show you how to download and we'll look at the interrogator feature. It can write prompts from an image and a whole lot more. The Interrogate model also powers the auto-captions in the LoRa trainer. And it's available as a large language model inside the scripting sandbox. This is a tutorial for DrawThings, the image and video generator for Mac, iPad, and iOS. It's free on the app stores and runs open source AI models locally on your device. We'll start by downloading the model. On Mac and iPad, the interrogator lives at the top of the Tools panel above the history thumbnails. On iPhone, it's all the way to the right on the top of the canvas and will open the Tools panel. The UI has some inconsistent naming. The feature is called Image Interpreter with a split button and a small down arrow at the right. Tap the down arrow and select Qwen 3.54b. The model will begin downloading when we tap the Interrogate button. This can take a minute. Once the download is finished, there's nothing else to set up. It's ready to use. With Qwen selected as the model, open the Interrogate button. The default question is labeled as a system prompt. That's where you put any specific instructions. We don't need to point to the canvas, and there are no parameters, no temperature control, and no seed. We can edit the question and move the answer to the prompt editor. The model can also create captions for LoRa training. First, select the interrogator model. Open the PEFT window from the side rail. At the top, set auto-caption and add a photo. The analysis happens automatically, one by one, for each image. The captions are still editable, and they can be re-triggered with a right-click or option-click on Mac, and a tap and hold on iPad. Last thing to show you is in the scripts. This feature is currently undocumented. Well, it is documented if you know where to look, but it's not listed in the boilerplate text. The JavaScript is canvas.answer. It's a subset of the canvas functions. It takes two arguments, the model, which is the name of the model file, and the question, which is a text string, essentially the interrogator system prompt. In JavaScript, I've always seen it used by declaring a new variable that equals this command. The script will pause while the process is running. It's assumed it will be referencing the image on the canvas. So even if you don't mention it, Qwen might If you've ever tried to combine Draw Things with a third-party runtime, you already know that a big part of the effort goes to getting the apps to communicate over the HTTP API, or gRPC. And what can be communicated is usually limited to the prompt and maybe one reference image. Draw Things JavaScript runtime can do a lot more than just render.
Ready for the next big thing?
It's potentially a fully automated pipeline that can batch load and process images, upscaling, remove backgrounds, face swapping, and generate images and then videos, edit the last frame, and keep going. These videos were generated from a prompt in the answer script. The interrogator uses Qwen to analyze the image and create a prompt for video, including ambient audio, subject action, and spoken dialogue.
I can't believe it. The details are so vivid.
I didn't supply the dialogue. Qwen did. That's all I have time for. As always, I hope you've had a learn. Give the video a like if you think others will find it useful, and subscribe to get the next one in your feed. I'll see you next time. Bye!